Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy healthy start to this Friday morning, as it's probably going to be a big Friday because we got big higher term timeframes closing. That's going to be the 5-day and then the weekly for CME, and very likely going to set into motion for the next few weeks alongside the monthly closure, whether Bitcoin's more likely to see 27 to 28,000 bucks or low 20s once again. In this case, before we get into the analysis, before I do follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis, I did want to point out that on the events tab over here on the Krown trading application, which by the way, this is 100% freely available to anyone who clicks the link in the description below, we can see that there are a few events of note today. One of them is going to be several Fed members. Two of them. 2 or 3 of them are going to be speaking a little bit later today, so that's probably going to produce some short-term volatility. And then the big one is PCE coming out later today as well. In the U.S. Morning. So do keep in mind that around these events, that's probably where these where these setups that we're going to speak about are either going to be confirmed or denied, and really going to set into motion what to expect over the next week, maybe even 2 weeks, depending upon where we kind of find ourselves. Anyways, let me go back into the regular frame over here, and we can follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis. We are looking at 24,500 and change as the top side of the 4-hour historical returns range highs, the 50% of historical returns range highs, I should say, just this blue area right here. And we were saying, hey, look, as long as Bitcoin's living below here, can't really be looking for any sort of breakout back to the, back to 25.1, 25.2 or so. And there would be a reversal confirmed on the short-term timeframes if Bitcoin starts to trade and close below the hourly 50% of historic returns range lows, which it did actually shortly after that video. If we can actually load this one in, you can see it's going to be this one right here. If we can, come on, baby, show me the ranges, show me the damn ranges. We need them we need them more than ever right now. There we go. Is this area right here? We got our closure below it right here, and at that point, we were looking for a return back down to the upper 23s, also in alignment with the CME gap, and just these prior lows over here, basically, which is where we're kind of at today. So in that case, leading back into this one, it's kind of it's a very similar thing as before, in the sense that I would be looking at this as an early breakdown, likely to bleed into the higher term timeframes if we see low and medium term timeframes start to close below the bottom side of the hourly 50% of historic returns range lows right here at about 23,600 or so. Basically, kind of where all these all this price just kind of found the short term lows as of right now. That is going to well correlate with, I believe, not the 4-hour, but the daily. The daily target, if that were to get taken out, is very likely to be back down around about 22,900, with a bounce along the way, maybe around 22.3 or so. Until then, however, as long as Bitcoin holds it, does still have a higher low in place compared to what we were looking at on the 17th. And this same condition as yesterday does still exist right here. Let me just make sure I'm looking at the right pane. Yeah, okay, we are, so that's good. Goofed that one up earlier, but in this case, yeah, 24,500 or so. If Bitcoin can even really trade above yesterday's high, very, very likely we'll see a return back above 25,000 bucks, and that's going to set into motion a much greater sequence of events where we're probably going to see into the deeper $20,000 territory over the next couple weeks. So that's where I bring you to probably the most important chart of the day, and that's going to be the 5-day time frame on the Gaussian channel right here. 5-day time frame is going to be closing tonight, so do keep this in mind. And basically, as of right now, Bitcoin is trading below the mean band right here. The mean band is rejecting me. How dare you? How dare you reject me? It's high school all over again. But in this case, you can see that the mean band is coming in at so fucking dumb. It's coming in at 24,100 or so. So that's the magical number that Bitcoin needs to close above today in order to keep this one particularly alive. I do think that it would be much better to see it close closer to about 24,500 if we're really going to see continuation of the top side of the band here, which is currently just below 28,000 bucks. So it'd still be looking at a targeted region, in the following weeks, somewhere between about 27 to 28,000. Again, on the higher term timeframes. By the same token, if Bitcoin does get rejected here and we see a full closure below the mean band, then at that point, really do have to start to entertain the possibilities of a return back down somewhere around these lows here that we saw a couple weeks ago. in the upper 21s or so. Of course, I still remain with the same thing that I've been saying for a while. However, I do refrain from looking for any sort of like humongously nasty reversal as long as Bitcoin's trading above that higher low, which again is about 21,700 on a closing basis, on a higher time frame closing basis. If that does happen, then yeah, very likely we're going to see $20,000 and probably lower than that as well. Or I do think that it'd be relevant to be looking perhaps a little bit lower than that as well. But that's well and far away for right now. Until then, today's closure very, 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 very important. If we do see it close above the mean band, the $27,000 to $20,000 region is still on. And if we see it close below, well, it's kind of the same thing as before then, I suppose. So again, the major area right there, 24,100. Keep that one in the back of your mind's eye. Let me now flip back on over here. I need to reference my notes. I forgot my notes. God damn it. Where is they? Where is they? Also great English. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, now we can go reference stochastic momentum, see where the pivots are in the short term right now. This was also kind of an early prelude for yesterday's short-term downside movement. Hourly is going to be showing actually pressure down here as long as Bitcoin is closing below on CME. That is 24,150 right now, trading about $150 below. So not like a death sentence, but is below as of right now. 4-hour time frame is also going to be down as long as Bitcoin's below 2450. So kind of within that same region. A lot of things already stacking up in the low 24s. What do you know? 6-hour time frame also going to be showing down some momentum as long as Bitcoin's below 24,400, and the 12-hour is going to be hard down here below 24,800, and the daily is even going to be having a fresh stint at a downside cross below 24,800 as well. So it does seem that across the board pressure is down yet again. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if we are going to see Bitcoin breakdown, and I wouldn't necessarily say like the perma bear is going to be right, but if the short-term bear is going to be right with like a sizable move to the downside, this is very likely where it comes from. So do keep that in mind. Today's closure is pretty damn important. If we do not see Bitcoin break today, that'd be a pretty damn good sign. And I'd say if Bitcoin survives throughout the weekend without really truly breaking down below those range lows that we spoke about earlier, then the probability is going to really shift back in favor of the boo laws. But for right now, if you are going to be bearish, like that's essentially what I'd be looking for. Surprise, surprise, bears are looking for price to go down. Bulls are also looking for price to go up. Crazy analysis right there. No, just understand the timing of these sorts of things. Anyways, moving on now. I want to get back to this particular setup. So this was the 4-hour time frame that we spoke about yesterday. And despite Bitcoin's downside move intraday there, I do want to state that in the way that this strategy was tested, in the way that the strategy was made, it is not invalidated until we see a closure below 23,600. So despite Bitcoin retesting the lows, that's actually not a failure. This one is still on. And what I mean by on is that these stats over here are still relevant until that sort of failure condition is met. At that point, failure condition also equals, well, reversal condition and probably much lower prices, obviously. But in this case, it would still be suggesting that there is a high probability of an upside move here. Short-term upside move here. Again, if you're not familiar with this one, let me just, you can actually see it. Let me just go over it really, really quickly. It's a strategy that I gave out on this channel 3, 4, 5 months ago with the jewel light. Basically, jewel light comes below 35, turns white alongside a daily uptrend. Then these statistics have been relevant over here. So the things that I'm most interested in is percent profitable and in the profit factor. All of the other simulations are done with an account size, or sorry, not an account size, but a base trading size of about 300,000. So that may or may not be relevant to you. But if that does happen, if we do see that play out, well, that would essentially call a return back up towards the highs. So I would say that that's still likely, or at least according to this, the probabilities stand in favor of that. But I also want to say something else. A lot of the setups that we have been looking at on this particular channel, especially over the past month and a half, or even going back to December now, they've been playing out like really fucking well, which makes me think that the next major failure is right around the corner. Could this be it? Could this be the starting one for that? Could very well be. But yeah. Again, until 23.6 is taken out on a closing basis, would still say that there's a higher probability of an upside move. In fact, recently there was a nice loss over here. See, you can see this one over here. It's not perfect, obviously. 76.25% is, it's not 100%. But you know what the missing ingredient is? I've been discounting this one, and this is what the true, this is the true analysis. Needs more manifestation, guys. We need to manifest. We need to manifest the price action. The price action must be manifested. I just need to think, and then I will receive. That's right. Think, and then you shall receive. Don't worry about all that pesky work and action nonsense. That's for peasants. We're manifesting here, and I'm going to manifest the shit out of this price action, and we're going to the moon. It's 100,000 on again. You know how I know that manifesting is bullshit, besides having a brain, is this. Every time I got onto an airplane, all right, I'm really afraid of them, actually. I'm very afraid of them. And I visualize what it'd be like for the plane to crash, like I go into like deep detail, like lose its engines and then go nose diving down and crash, and like what it'd feel like to die, just being kind of contorted very awkwardly between the seat in front of me and my seat, and what it'd feel like and all of the terrible emotions that'd be going on beforehand. I even like sometimes will Google or YouTube videos of planes crashing. I don't know why I do this. It's stupid. But despite all of that manifestation, still it's worked pretty damn well. Then again, maybe I'm knocking on wood right now, and maybe I'm not going to make it home. But fair enough. Anyways, I'm not trying to offend the manifestors out there. I'm just saying what we're all thinking. No, I'm just saying, look, it doesn't, it sounds like I'm judging people who manifest. Look, if it works for you, that's fucking great, man. I'm really, really happy for you. But that's a great place for me to leave off on this particular stream, so I don't offend any more people. Anyways, yeah, it's time for me to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.